Manchester United Football Club, the focal point of England's Manchester, situated in the City and Premier League, likewise battling football club. Established in 1878 by labourers under the name Newton Heath Lyr Football Club, the name of the club was changed to Manchester United in 1902 after it was bought by a representative. In 1910, they moved to Old Trafford, where they despite everything played home matches. 2. The club, which carried Matt Busby to the post-World War II group, set up a generally excellent crew and won 2 Alliance titles in succession in 1956 and 1957. Be that as it may, there was a stunning turn of events and the group's plane smashed in Munich. Because of this calamity on February 6, 1958, 8 players of the group kicked the bucket and a significant number of them were harmed. While everybody figured the group would crumple, Busby restored a group of harmed players and youngsters, turned into the British boss twice in 1965 and 1967 and turned into the primary English group to win the Champion Clubs Cup in 1968. Alex Ferguson, the leader of the group from November 1986 as far as possible of the 2012-13 season, is the club's best mentor ever. Ferguson, who has been at the leader of the group for a long time and has the title Sir, has won 26 major trophies at the head of United. Second. Having 20 groups, 4 League Cups, 12 Federation Cups and 20 FA Community Shield titles, Manchester United is one of the best clubs throughout the entire existence of English football. 3. The group with 3 Champions Clubs Cup, UEFA Champions League title additionally won 3 of the Premier League, Federation Cup and UEFA Champions League in the 1998-99 season, making it once-in-a-while treble throughout the entire existence of football. Manchester United is one of the most extravagant and most mainstream football clubs on the planet. 4, 5, 6, 7. The club, evaluated to be worth £1,190,000,000, is the world's most important football club. 8. The club, which opened up to the world on the London Stock Exchange in 1991, was purchased by Malcolm Glazer in May 2005 for £800 million. 9. History. The primary years 1878 to 1945. Manchester United's National Alliance execution among 1893 and today. It was established as Newton Heath Lyr Football Club by the labourers of Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway Company in Manchester United, Newton Heath. 10. The principal experience of the group, which showed up on the field in little matches between the rail organisations during its foundation, is against the Bolton Wanderers whole group. Newton Heath Lyr FC, who was on the field in green and gold shirts, which are the shades of the railroad organisation, was vanquished 6-0 by his rival. 11. In 1888, he got one of the establishing individuals from the Territorial Football Association the combination. First Division in the 1892-93 season. The Lyr 12 for the sake of the group that began to battle in was evacuated. 10. Only 2 seasons after the group contended in this class, the bunch fell and began to happen in the second division. 10. Manchester United's 1913-14 season crew. In January 1902, the club, which owed £2,670, £210,000 today, arrived at the end point. 13. Team skipper Harry Stafford talked with nearby businesspeople, particularly John Henry Davies, and supported the club £500. The name of the club that changed hands on April 24, 1902 was likewise changed. 14. And Manchester United was formally conceived. 15. The club won its first Alliance title in 1903 under the mentor of Ernest Mangnall. Having ascended to the subsequent association in Second Division in 1906, MUFC had title in First Division in 1908. The next year, the season Charity Shield starting with the title. 16. The club finished the season with the Federation Cup title. The club had the First Division title again with Mangnall in 1911, and left the club to move to Mangnall Manchester City toward the start of the following season. 17. Because of the First World War, the association couldn't be composed between the periods of 1915-16 and 1918-19, and the group fell in 2 seasons, in 1921-22, after it began to be modified. In 1925, he rose to First Division once more. The group, which consigned again in 1931, completed the second division in 20th in 1934 and picked up the most noticeably terrible situation in its history. In October 1927, with the passing of its proprietor J. H. Davies, the club started to get once more, and its monetary circumstance started to disintegrate. In December 1931, the club floated towards liquidation. James W. Gibson contributed £2,000 and the club was by and by spared from Chapter 11, 18, 2. The club finished the first division in 14th spot in the 1938-39 season, a year prior to the alliances halted because of World War II. 18. Busby period 1945 to 1969. Another period began in October 1945, when Matt Busby began filling in as a mentor at the club. During the Busby time frame, the profile of the football player and the specialized staff has expanded, the preparation offices have been modernized, and security and brandishing achievement have begun to come. 19. Busby, he completed the class second in 1947, 1948 and 1949, and won the Federation Cup in 1948. In 1952, the club won the first division title without precedent for a long time. 20. Since the normal age of Busby's Manchester United is 22, the media named the epithet Busby's Babies 21. 22. In 1957, the group that completed the association in the first place, he won the title of being the main English group to contend in the Champion Clubs Cup. 23. In the main period of the competition, the group, which made it to the semi-finals, was disposed of in Milan in the semi-last yet performed effectively contrasted with the primary season. 24. The following season, while the Cervena Zvezda removal for the Champions Club Cup quarterfinal, the airplane conveying footballers, specialized administration, authorities and writers fell while refueling the Munich skies. This episode, which occurred on February 6, 1958, stood out forever under the name of Munich Air Fiasco. Among the players on the plane, Jeff Bent, Roger Byrne, Eddie Coleman, Duncan Edwards, Mark Jones, David Pegg, Tommy Taylor and Billy Whelan passed on and many were harmed. 25-26. Busby endured this episode yet stayed out of office for some time due to being dealt with. In the 1958 Federation Cup last, Jimmy Murphy, who was the mentor of the group against Bolton Wanderers, was driven. The club completed the class mid-year that year, and the boss was Wolverhampton Wanderers. UEFA, then again, welcomed Manchester United to happen in the 1958-59 period of the Champion Clubs Cup, just as Wolverhampton Wanderers. In any case, in spite of the endorsement of the English Football Federation, the club couldn't take an interest in the competition because of legitimate deterrents. 27-28. During the 1960s, the club was rebuilt under the initiative of Busby. Redesigned with well-known youthful footballers of the time, for example, George Best, Dennis Law and Pat Crerand, Manchester United arrived at the Federation Cup in 1963. The group, which completed the association in the second spot with a similar age the following season, arrived at the title in 1965 and 1967. In the Champions Club Cup last in 1968, MUFC vanquished Benfica 4-1 and turned into the main English group to win the Champion Clubs Cup. 29. Bobby Charlton, Dennis Law and George Best, who participated in the Hero Crew, were the best footballer in Europe that year. They were designated for their honours. Best won the honour, while Charlton came in second. 30. At the point when Matt Busby left his club mentor position in 1969, he was supplanted by the Save Group's mentor Wilf McGuinness, subsequently finishing the Busby time frame in United. 31. Insecure years 1969 to 1986. Joined together, drove by Wilf McGuinness, made a terrible beginning to the association in the 1969-70 season and positioned 8th toward the finish of the period. After the following season, the outcome didn't change. Busby assumed control over the lead for a brief timeframe, and McGuinness came back to his situation in the Save Group. In June 1971, Franco Farrell started to lead the pack, however he was removed soon after a year and a half, and Tommy Docherty was supplanted in December 1972. 33. In the 1973-74 season, when Docherty went through his second year toward the start of the group fell into a bunch. Anyway, Best, Law and Charlton left the club. 29, returning to the First Division the next year, the group made it to the finals in the 1976 Federation Cup, yet was vanquished by Southampton. The next year, he met Liverpool in the last of the Federation Cup and won the title in the cup with a score of 2-1. Docherty was excused not long after the club physiotherapist's illegal relationship with his better half showed up. 31-34. In the mid-year of 1977, Docherty was supplanted by Dave Sexton. Sexton's United, who completed second in the Alliance in the 1979-80 season with the cast of key players, for example, Joe Jordan, Gordon McQueen, Gary Bailey and Ray Wilkins, likewise lost to Arsenal in the 1979 Federation Cup and shut the season without a cup. After the bombed administration, 1981 he was excused from. 35. Then Ron Atkinson started to lead the pack, and Atkinson's first exchange was Brian Robson, who originated from West Bromwich Albion for a record fee. It has been 2 Federation Cups were won during Atkinson's period. Furthermore, the group won 13 successes in the initial 15 weeks of the 1985-86 season, yet finished the season in the 4th spot. The accompanying season, Atkinson was terminated in light of the fact that the group was in the assignment pot. 36. Ferguson era 1986 to 2013. Alex Ferguson and his aide, Archie Knox, originated from Aberdeen to United with the excusal of Atkinson, who completed 11th in the Alliance. 37-38. Under the initiative of Ferguson, United, who won the title without precedent for the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup in the 1990-91 season, experienced the Red Club boss of the Champions Clubs Cup in the 1991 UEFA Super Cup, and took this cup to the gallery just because. In the 1992 League Cup played in Wembley, he vanquished Nottingham Forest 1-0 and carried this trophy to the club for the subsequent time. 36. In 1993, he won his club's first title after 1967. After a year, he won the Premier League and the Federation Cup and made it double. 36. Manchester United won Chief League, Federation Cup and UEFA Champions League in 1998-99 season and made treble, and went into the historical backdrop of British football. 39. The 1999 UEFA Champions League final in Bayern Munich face of additional time to 0-1 destruction into United, entering the game match in the second half. Teddy Sheringham and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's extra time coming 2-1 victors with objectives that horse throughout the entire existence of football's generally staggering back. He marked one of his turns. 40. The club additionally won the Intercontinental Cup title by beating Palmeiras 1-0 in Tokyo. 41. Ferguson was later pronounced a knight for his administrations to British football and was granted the title Sir. 42. He partook in the FIFA Club World Championship, which was held in Manchester United, Brazil in 2000. 43. United arrived at the title again in the Premier League in the seasons 1999-2000 and 2001. The group, which completed the third period of the 2001-02 season, recaptured the title of the title the next year. In the 2003-04 period of the Federation Cup, he vanquished Millwall 3-0 in the last match and again won the cup title. 44. Unable to partake in the UEFA Champions League bunches without precedent for a long time in the 2005-06 season, United won the League Cup around the same time, defeating the season without a cup. The group that won the title in succession in the season 2006-07 and 2007-08 in the 2008 UEFA Champions League final, he crossed Chelsea with punishments and made it twofold once more. Ryan Giggs, then again, took the record of Bobby Charlton by wearing the uniform multiple times for United. 45. Winner of the FIFA Club World Cup in December 2008, the club won the Premier League and League Cup in a similar season, making it treble once more. 46-47. At the finish of the fruitful season, the club that sold Cristiano Ronaldo to Real Madrid with a tribute of £80 million sold the most costly football player on the planet. 48. League Cup in 2010, Manchester United, who won with a score of 2-1, won the primary cup of the period. 49. The club's first escutcheon is gotten from the Manchester City Council emblem. 51. In the 1970s, a demon figure holding a rake was added to the emblem of the group, which was called Red Devils 52 by the media. From that point forward, just the tint changes and minor modifications have been made to the fleet. 51. According to a photograph taken in 1892, the group's first shirt is the red-white pullover and the blue shorts underneath. 53. In 1894–96, the group sported green, gold hues. 53. Began to wear blue shorts under the white structure from 1896 onwards. 53. After the name of the club changed in 1902, the pullovers additionally changed and the group began to play matches with the red shirt, white shorts and dark socks. This structure is worn even today in Manchester United's home games and has become a convention. 53. In the 1909 Federation Cup last, the V figure was added to the neck of the shirt. After this expansion, there was no adjustment in the shirt until 1922. 53. Colours. In 1934 it was changed to cherry and white, and the club came back to the old hues when it got the most exceedingly terrible evaluation in its history in the second division, the 20th. 53. The present home pullover is the conventional plan, comprising of red shirt, white shorts and dark socks. 54. Despite the fact that Manchester United's away structure is standard with white pullover, dark shorts and white socks, there are exemptions. For instance, in the 1999–00 season, the structure with even silver stripes on a naval force blue structure and finished with white shorts can be given. 55. 56. The semi-dark half naval force blue shirt. 57. 58. Worn in 1995–96 and the white pullover. 59. That were only discharged in 2001 to commend the 100th commemoration of Manchester United. Appeared. Finishing the second 2009–10 season after Chelsea, the group won the 19th Premier League title in the 2010–11 season. In the 2011–12 season, the group contended with their opponent, Manchester City, in the interest of the association title, losing this opposition with a 1–1 draw with Blackburn Rovers a week ago. 50. Arena. During Newton Heath, the club's matches were played on North Road, near the railroad. This region, which has a unique limit of 12,000 individuals, was viewed as deficient for the club that plans to take an interest in the Football League by club authorities. 60. In 1891, Newton Heath utilised the railroad organisation's budgetary stores to buy 2 stands, each with a limit of 1,000 observers. 61. The primary matches on North Road were not recorded. The principal coordinate in the Chronicles was the First Division coordinate against Sunderland against 4,000 fans on March 4, 1893. 62. 63. After the North Road departure by club proprietors, in June 1893, Club Secretary R. Albert made Bank Street, situated in Clayton, worked as another arena. 64. Newton Heath's first-class game was played on Bank Street, and Alf Farman, who deceived the match against Burnley on September 1, 1893, brought the 3–2 win to Newton Heath. Bank Street was incidentally shut down by bailiffs in 1902. Group chief Harry Stafford briefly leased a spot for the club in Padiham. 65. After the speculations of the new club president J. H. Davies, he came back to Bank Street. 66. With interests in the following 4 years, the arena arrived at a limit of 50,000 individuals. 66. In 1908, Manchester United won the Main Alliance title and the Federation Cup a year later. It was chosen by Davies that Bank Street couldn't address the club's issues. 66. In February 1909, Old Trafford was picked to be the club's new arena and land bought for £60,000. The club, which charged architect Archibald Leach to fabricate a 100,000-man new arena, distributed a £30,000 spending plan for this activity. The opening of the arena was hung on March 25, 1939 with Wolverhampton Wanderers and Grimsby Town, with a record interest, with 76,962 observers. 67. 2. Bombings during World War II wrecked the vast majority of the arena. 31. After the war, the club got £22,278 remuneration from the Battle Damage Commission. 68. If the arena during the rebuilding procedure, the group of Manchester City's Main Road at that point have played their home games at. 69. Following Taylor Report's prohibition on watching observers from all arenas in England, Old Trafford's ability was decreased to 44,000 individuals in 1993 and the whole arena was situated. In 1995, the limit was expanded to 55,000 individuals. With the finish of the 1998-99 season, the limit was expanded to 67,000 individuals. Increases to the arena proceeded with later. In the match between Manchester United and Blackburn Rovers on 31 March 2007, which was viewed by 76.098 observers, just 114 seats stayed void. 70. This is the Premier League record. 71. With the last improvement in 2009, the limit was diminished to 255 individuals and diminished to 75,957 observers. 72. 73. Fans. Manchester United is the club that plays the most well-known football club on the planet and home matches to Europe's most noteworthy fan normal. 75. The club has in excess of 200 authority Manchester United fan clubs, 76, in 24 nations overall. 77. The club sorts out overall visits in the mid-year consistently and meets football clubs of the nations visited. As indicated by Deloitte, a bookkeeping and the executives consultancy organization, United has 75 million supporters worldwide and 333 million fans, contrasted with other think tanks. 6. Fans additionally group autonomously of the club. Free Manchester United Supporters Association, 78, and Manchester United Supporters Trust are some of them. Additionally, many fan discussions on the web are instances of this bunch. 79. Following the acquisition of the club by the Glazer family in 2005, a gathering of United fans established FC United of Manchester. The Tribune of Old Trafford, which is called Stretford End, is where there are red-hot United fans. 80. Rivalry for. Fundamental articles: Manchester Derby, Liverpool FC vs Manchester United FC and Leeds United AFC vs Manchester United FC. There are three clubs where Manchester United has been in extraordinary rivalry since the past: Liverpool, Manchester City and Leeds United. 81. 82. The greatest of these rivalries is the Liverpool rivalry, which is the best and most famous club of British football, 83, with United. While this opposition was the principal North-West clash, it transformed into an opposition between Liverpool, one of the most recognised port urban communities of the world, and Manchester, one of the significant urban communities of the material business. 84. In expansion, there have been different fierce occurrences throughout the entire existence of this opposition. The most acclaimed of this is a Liverpool fan spit after Manchester United player Eric Cantona in the 1996 Federation Cup last. 85. What's more, Alan Smith, who was assaulted by Liverpool fans in a Federation Cup coordinate in 2006, was broken. 86. MUFC's opposition with Leeds United is known as Rose Competition, regarding the War of Roses. 87. According to Football Fans Census, an autonomous think tank, enthusiasts of Leeds and Manchester United are Britain's most smoking and most partnered fans. 88. Brand esteem. Manchester United is an overall brand. As per a report in 2009, the brand estimation of the club is £329 million, and the brand rating is amazingly solid, to be specific AAA. 89. According to the 2010 report of Forbes magazine, the brand estimation of the club is $285 million. Alongside this sum, it is the second most significant games club on the planet. The main club before United in the rundown is the American baseball club New York Yankees. 7. Clubs, with 2010 as Deloitte Football Money League, in Real Madrid and Barcelona, is situated after the third. 90. The modeler of Manchester United's overall image esteem today is Matt Busby, the pioneer of the rebuilding after the Munich Air fiasco. 80. Bobby Charlton, Matt Busby's group, Nobby Stiles, Dennis Law and George Best are significant figures in this new rebuilding. The football reasoning of this group was set up to play a forceful football, as opposed to the Catenaccio strategy of the Italian groups of the time. 91. This prompted a compassion toward the club. The club, which opened up to the world on the London Stock Exchange in 1991, is the principal British football club to open up to the world. This move carried a huge benefit to the business and sportive achievements situated club. 91-92 Manchester United has picked up brand quality and media consideration through group achievement and the individual prominence of its players, for example, David Beckham and Cristiano Ronaldo. This huge intrigue has prompted overall chances and consequently sponsorship openings. 93 In specific, Beckham's fame in Asia was a business part of the club during his stay at the club. Any business salary item, for example, Beckham pullovers, cloths, gifts, soccer balls, treats, and so on, was advertised under the name Beckham and brought both an extraordinary pay and notoriety to the club. 94. Accomplishment in all zones gives more noteworthy salary to the club. In the event that achievement is accomplished, more offers are acquired from the TV salary cake, which gives the club progressively monetary force. Since the time the Premier League began, Manchester United BSkyB has taken the greatest offer in communicate bargain income. 95 Manchester United likewise accomplished the most elevated business income in one season contrasted with any British club. In the 2005-06 season, United earned £51 million, Chelsea £42,500,000, Liverpool £39,300,000, Arsenal £34 million and Newcastle United £27,900,000. The most significant sponsorship relationship of the club Nike was built up in 2002 with. As a major aspect of the 13-year association, Nike will deal with the club's promoting activity, which will create £303 million in income. 96 Likewise, Manchester United marked media administrations, for example, the club's private TV station, MUTV, have empowered the club to grow its fan base past Old Trafford. 5. Supporters. The club's first sponsorship bargain was worth £500,000 and was with Sharp Electronics. The principal shirt support was Vodafone with the understanding toward the start of the 1982-83 season. This understanding went on until the 1999-00 season, and toward the finish of this period, the understanding was reached out for an additional 4 years. For these 4 years, the club earned £30 million. 97. Toward the start of the 2006-07 season, the American insurance agency AIG has become the principal 4-year supporter of the club, paying £56.5 million. This arrangement is the world's most important sponsorship bargain. 98-99 At the start of the 2010-11 season, the American reinsurance organization Aon paid £80 million and turned into the fundamental supporter of the club for a long time at the most significant expense in football history. 100. Umbro, the club's first pullover maker, created the club's shirts for a long time until Admiral turned into the new pullover producer in 1975. 101 After Admiral's arrangement finished, Adidas turned into the club's new pullover producer in 1980. 102 In 1992, Umbro embraced to deliver the club's shirts for the subsequent time. 103 After 10 years with Umbro, Nike consented to an arrangement with the club. Under this understanding, Nike will serve the club as a pullover producer by 2015 and will pay £302.9 million. 104-105 Besides Nike and Aon, Audi and Budweiser, the club has many sub-supports. 106. Proprietors and money-related circumstance. The club, financed by the Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway Company in the early years, was offered to its nearby supporters in 1892 for £1. 14 In 1902, 4 neighborhood agents, for the most part J. H. Davies, purchased the club, which was going to fail, with a speculation of £500. 14 James W. Gibson, who put £2,000 in the club that was very nearly Chapter 11 after Davies' demise in 1927, assumed control over the club's administration in December 1931. 18 after his child, Alan, 107, who became president in 1948 after Gibson, passed on 3 years after the fact, and Harold Hardman took over as administrator of the club. 108, 109. After the Munich air fiasco, Louis Edwards, a companion of Matt Busby, contributed £40,000 and purchased 54% of the club, and the club's administration went to him in January 1964. 110. Media lord Robert Maxwell made a few arrangements to purchase the club in 1984, however the dealings finished adversely on the grounds that Edwards didn't acknowledge the value he needed. 111. In 1989, club president Edwards attempted to offer the club to Michael Knighton for £20 million, however the deal didn't happen. Knighton joined the board. 111. Manchester United was recorded on the stock trade in June 1991 and got a takeover offer from Rupert Murdoch's British Sky Broadcasting Corporation in 1998. 112. The Manchester United top managerial staff acknowledged this proposal of £623 million, however deals were obstructed by the Monopolies and Mergers Commission in April 1999. 113. Horse dashing a couple of years later with their accomplices John Magnier, J.P. McManus has bit by bit become the lion's share investor and a force battle has risen between them. In this period, it was guaranteed that Ferguson would be expelled from his post as a result of the opposition among Ferguson and Magnier and McManus on the responsibility for racehorse named Rock of Gibraltar. However, this didn't occur. Magnier and McManus offered his offers in the club to Malcolm Glazer and pulled back from the administration. 114. On May 16, 2005, American businessperson Malcolm Glazer assumed responsibility for the club by expanding his offer in Manchester United. 115. Glazer assumed responsibility for the football club by expanding his stake in United over 75% and spent $1.5 million in the last offer by activity. 116. Glazer additionally picked up the ability to evacuate the organization recorded on the London Stock Exchange and make new speculations without the endorsement of different investors. In July 2006, the club declared a £660 million obligation renegotiating bundle, which would bring about a 30% obligation decrease, with yearly intrigue installments of £62 million. 117, 118. On January 10, 2010, Manchester United reported that Mu Finance would sell £500 million high-return bonds with a development of 2017 to fund the club's obligation. 119, 120.